Hey, it's Amanda with Create, Inspire, Convert, and on this week's podcast episode, we're going to answer the question, first of all, of how you pronounce this word. It's the one that's spelled N-I-C-H-E. Do you say it niche? I'm going to say it as niche, and if you don't like that, I'm so sorry. You can send me an email and let me know how to correctly say it. But we're going to answer the question of whether or not you need to niche down in your business for content purposes. All right, let's get to it. Hi there. Welcome to Create, Inspire, Convert, a podcast for business owners and marketers who are looking to deepen their knowledge about creative and experience-focused online marketing. I'm your host, Amanda Rosen. Let's get to this week's episode. Okay, so I have a question for you. Does the idea of niching down in your business make you break out in nervous sweats, worrying and thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, what if I exclude someone who would have been an awesome client or customer if I niche down? Then what? Or maybe you think of it as a form of boxing your business in, and you don't want to commit to just one thing for the next 10, 20, or 30 years, and it just makes you feel so nervous. Here's the thing. The whole idea of niching down in your business is a tale as old as time. In fact, if Angela Lansbury could just go ahead and start singing to me right now, that would be great. And shout out to all my 90s kids who get the Beauty and the Beast reference. If not, that's okay. You should go watch it. It's the classic one. Now, I'm about to say something really controversial about niches since we're talking about this. I think that there's actually a misconception about them when it comes to online marketing and growing a business. I think that many business owners tend to think of a niche as a demographic, or it's selling a specific type of service or product, or it's a behavior a certain subsection of the population has, or it's the way they structure their services or products. Those are all pieces of a niche, but they are not actually what a niche is. Here's what a niche is. It's a hole in the market. So your unique selling proposition fills that hole. Chances are when you went into business, you noticed something that you could do differently or better or whatever it may be, and that is your unique selling proposition. You're filling that hole. Your niche is the same thing as your unique selling proposition. Your unique selling proposition is actually just another word for having a positioning, your unique positioning statement. How many times can I say the word unique in one podcast episode? Go ahead and count it, but don't turn it into a drinking game because I want you to finish listening to this episode. So your unique positioning statement, if you're not familiar, is just basically a sentence that describes your target market, what you do for them, and why they should care about it. Or in other words, how you're different from the other options out there. And like I said, that is your niche. It's not the individual pieces of what I just said. So it's not just your target market or just what you do or just why they should care about it. It's all of those things together as a whole. That is what makes it a niche. It's a very unique space that only you can fill just by being your awesome self. And this is why marketers and strategists and business advisors tell you to niche down. Because if you don't have a positioning statement, if you don't have a place in the market that you fill, you really don't have a voice. And you really don't have a business, and it's going to be really challenging for you to stand out, especially online. And that's kind of the hard truth about niches, but it's also why they're so important. So let's break down those three pieces that I just mentioned and talk them through so you can start thinking about what your niche actually should be. Number one, your niche defines who you serve. This is your target audience or your ideal client or customer. You can define this person in three main ways. You can define them demographically, so like by their age, their gender, their location. You can define them psychographically, by their mindset, behaviors, interests, or you can do a combination of the two. So one example could be like stressed out moms. That's a combo of the two. Whatever you decide, it's important to make a decision. But you should know this, because even if you tell yourself, okay, I'm here to serve women in their 30s who want to feel better about their bodies, guess what? You're probably going to attract women in their 20s and their 40s who also want to feel better about their bodies. So just because you've made this note to yourself that you're only serving this age range or this gender, the world doesn't know that. The random person on Instagram who saw your awesome post bringing awareness to your business has no idea what your unique positioning statement is. And so this is why you should never be afraid to start defining these aspects of your niche, because Your niche is made up of those three things, and not everyone is going to fall into all three at once. Sometimes they'll only hit two of the three or one of the three, and that's totally okay and to be expected. And I'm sure you've experienced this because you've probably bought a product before that you kind of knew like, oh, I'm not exactly the target market, but I really like the packaging, or I really like the message, or I really like this person or what they're doing or whatever, and you just decided to go for it anyway. The point is, you should have all three of those aspects narrowed down. So the target audience, how you serve them, and what makes you different, so that you're totally covered no matter what and no matter who comes across the content you're sharing online. And we'll kind of circle back to this again later. Okay, number two. The number two aspect of your niche is defining how you serve that target audience that you just outlined. So this is what you actually do in your business. It's your primary service or your primary product. If you have multiple services and products, it's the overarching theme or umbrella that describes all of those services or products. So when you're mapping out your unique positioning statement, you're going to do your best to succinctly state what it is that you do. Like, boil it down to just one line. So as an example, Create, Inspire, Convert, my company, offers multiple services, but they all have to do with digital marketing, and we call ourselves a customer service company that happens to offer digital marketing services for small business owners. That is my one line. It succinctly wraps it up. And by the way, I totally stole that from Zappos. So their founder had a huge heart for service. Tragically, he passed away last year, but he described Zappos, like over and over, he would describe it this way in interviews, as a customer service company that happens to sell shoes. And that just stuck with me so hard, and I loved it. So I adapted it for my own business. Now let's get back to what we're talking about here. So if you can't make your products or services fit into one theme or one umbrella, choose your best or top product or service and then describe that one, because chances are you have some product or some service that's kind of like your bread and butter that everyone gravitates to, or most people gravitate to, or you've become known for. So let that one help you narrow down your niche. Okay, number three, the last part of your niche. It defines why what you do matters to who you're trying to reach. And this is honestly the most important thing, no pressure. So there are two things that go into explaining why what you do matters to your target audience. The first is all about having a deep understanding of not just the surface desire that your target audience has, but their deeper desire too. So sure, someone may want beautiful photos for their event, but why? Maybe it's for the memories, or having those memories documented for the future is their deeper desire. The other piece of this is understanding how you can differentiate yourself in the market. So remember that hole I mentioned earlier. You probably went into business because you saw some gap or some need in the market that you knew you could fill. Here's another way to think about this. So just imagine that we're going to the grocery store and we're in the frozen food section, and we've just turned down the aisle with frozen vegetables. Which, if your grocery store is like my grocery store, it's just case after case of frozen vegetables. And it's like the same 5 vegetables that everybody has, but there's many different brands all selling these same 5 vegetables. It's like corn, broccoli, peas, cauliflower, carrots. I can think of 5 brands offhand that are doing this. Pick Sweet, Bird's Eye, Green Giant, and then like a discount store brand, like the actual store brand, and then a fancy store brand, which in our area is Private Selection. They all sell the same thing. It's just vegetables. Like, how many types of corn can there possibly be? But they're all trying to appeal to different, quote, why that matters approaches. So for example, the name Picked Sweet makes me think they picked it right when the vegetable was perfect, like right when it became ripe. This is a story I've made up in my head about Picked Sweet, but their name made me think of it. So if I am a shopper who really cares about that, I'm probably going to pick Picked Sweet because that's the vibe they gave me. So I want you to see how, even though you might be similar to people in your market, there's a way that you can differentiate yourself, and it's through your message. And that comes across in every little detail. Okay, here's my point with talking about these frozen vegetables. Understanding your place in the market and the hole you fill, aka how you stand out from your competition by nature of how you approach the results you provide with your business, is what makes this third part of your unique positioning statement so important. So just to recap, you're going to want to ensure that you can adequately convey how your business fulfills the deeper desire of your target audience and why you're different from the other options out there. So that means you're going to want to dig deep into that target audience and what their desires are, and also into your competition, and see how they're positioning themselves and how can you be a little bit different. So let's go back to that point I made earlier about how even if you want to find people who are in a specific demographic, you're still going to find people who fall outside of that demographic too, or rather they'll find you. Now, I mentioned the reason this happens is people will find different parts of your unique positioning statement more or less appealing. So someone who is out of your demographic range may get the feeling that your product or service isn't exactly for them, but they really love the way you approach your business, so they buy from you anyway. Or someone who is in your demographic but doesn't really care about the specifics behind what you do. They just know they need someone who can do X, Y, and Z, and you happen to be the one they came across. They're going to buy from you anyway. These scenarios are all made possible by you being clear, first of all, with yourself about your unique positioning statement, and then understanding how to accurately convey that to the market. In other words, you niche down. So I'm sorry to say, for all you niche haters out there, having a niche is an integral part to standing out in the market and growing a business. And that means all along the business school folks were right because, well, they just were. Okay, now before I tell you goodbye, I want to give you a fun fill-in-the-blank exercise that you can do to kind of help you craft your positioning statement, aka your niche. And I'm going to just read the statement. So to help us with this, because it has some fill-in-the-blank things, I'm going to make up an imaginary business as I'm saying it. And it's going to be a photographer, and it's going to be called Sunshine Photography, and they do newborn photography. Okay, here it is. Sunshine Photography delivers the best, unique newborn photo sessions for families in search of lasting memories that stand out from what you see online. Okay, so let's break that down. First, you have to start out by stating your business name. Sunshine Photography delivers the best, or you could say helps or some other thing. It's the action that you take. Next, you're going to name your solution in one line. So this is the what of your niche. So it's Sunshine Photography delivers the best newborn photos for, then it's your target audience. So the who of your niche. Families. Who value or who are looking for or who need or who are interested in or any other statement that works. And then you describe the desire that you fulfill. So Sunshine Photography delivers the best newborn photos for families who are looking for lasting memories in a unique way that stands out online. That stands out from what's different online. Sorry, I couldn't remember my made-up statement. So that last part is the desire you fulfill and how you're different. In other words, the why that matters of your niche. So let's just kind of recap this. I know it's like weird because I'm speaking this to you, but it's your business name delivers the best or helps or some other kind of action. Then you name your solution in one line, the what of your niche, for your target audience or the who of your niche, who value or who are looking for or who need or who are interested in or any other statement that's going to work. And then you name that desire that you fulfill and how you're different. Or in other words, the why that matters of your niche. And that's it. That's your statement. So it covers all of those aspects. And then after you have that crafted, what's really cool is you're going to look at that and you're going to be like, oh, well, in order for me to find that target audience who's looking for that specific desire, now I know I need to talk about X, Y, and Z online. Or I need to create videos that address blah, blah, blah. Or I need to start finding, or I need to create a free resource that addresses this. So it suddenly makes that whole content marketing aspect super easy. Now, if me speaking all of this had you be like, what? I can't keep up with this. What am I doing? I actually have a really handy tool that you can get for $37 that walks you through a series of strategic questions. And as you answer these questions, it actually creates your positioning statement for you. In other words, it creates your niche for you and it shows you what that needs to be. And then it takes all of that information as well and turns it into your content pillar. So then you can take that positioning statement or niche or whatever you want to call it and then start creating content online for it. You can get it for $37. It's at createinspireconvert.com/marketing generator. It's called the marketing strategy generator because it generates your positioning statement and your content marketing strategy. If you use the code podcast, CIC, you can get 10% off your order just for being a listener. Isn't that awesome? I thought so. Once again, that link is createinspireconvert.com/marketing generator. All right, that's it. Thanks for listening. I hope this helped answer your questions about whether or not you need to niche down. I hope I've convinced you that you need to niche down. Make sure that you've subscribed to this podcast. And if you like the episode, you can share it with a friend, or you can also tag me on Instagram. I'm Amanda M. Rosen and let me know what your takeaway was because I'd love to hear it. All right, that's it. See you next week.